The story begins with a family scene showing Thomas, the husband, and Kelly, the wife. Kelly had an older son named Jack, who remained paralyzed due to a childhood accident, and Kelly had to take care of him. Kelly also had a younger daughter named Lara. When they all sat down at the dinner table, Lara was very anxious. She wanted to go to a Halloween party but was afraid to ask her mother for permission. However, gathering courage, she finally asked her mother. But Kelly firmly denied Lara's request because Kelly belonged to a pure Catholic group and had raised her children to believe that God is everything and that no religion is greater than Christianity. Kelly controlled her children strictly to prevent them from straying into other religions. Because of this, Kelly didn't allow Lara to go outside. Lara also asked her father, but her husband couldn't challenge his wife, and Lara had to stay. But in a fit of anger, Lara decided to leave without permission. She only informed her father about her decision and started planning to leave. Lara took out a mobile phone hidden in her bag, which she had kept a secret from her mother. She quickly called her friends who were going to the Halloween party with her. However, as Lara left, her older brother Jack saw her. It seemed Jack was about to tell their mother everything, but he told his younger sister Lara, "I won't do anything. You go and enjoy the Halloween party, but take care of yourself." Lara was very happy with this and went directly into the Halloween party. Lara didn't socialize much, so she wasn't comfortable interacting with people. She reached the Halloween party but struggled to figure out how to hang out with others since people were dancing, drinking, kissing, and performing various activities. This made her feel a little uncomfortable. However, the awkwardness fades when her friend Mary arrives, the one who had invited Lara to the party. Both of them now meet together, and Mary takes her to an old house. She only says, "I have a surprise for you." When they reach the house, two other boys are present, one named Henry and the other named Naruto. After meeting in the house, Mary and Naruto leave to another place. It is then revealed that Henry and Lara like each other, and soon, Henry comes very close to Lara and kisses her. Lara shows interest in all of this. However, after a while, Mary and Naruto return, and they have to separate. Then, Ruta shows a photo inside the creepy house, explaining that the previous owner of the house was a doctor. It is said that the doctor killed his wife in front of his 3 daughters and later sang strange lullabies to maintain the powers of evil spirits. People believe that a dangerous spirit possessed the doctor, and it was that spirit that murdered his wife. Although the doctor wasn't entirely at fault, it is believed that today, their spirits still roam the house. Everyone, especially Lara, starts feeling terrified since she wasn't used to such things. However, her 3 friends were with her, so they decide to perform a strange ritual. They all go to the basement and place photos in the middle. Holding hands, they perform a dangerous ritual, attempting to summon the doctor's spirit and see what it could do. But none of them knew that their mistake would later ruin everyone's life. The friends keep saying they will enjoy it as they continue to chant while trying to summon the doctor's spirit. After a while, when Lara opens her eyes and looks at the photo of the doctor, it is revealed that behind her, the doctor's spirit is present, and it immediately attacks Lara. Suddenly, all the songs begin playing, the same songs the doctor used to sing to his daughters. When Mary opened her eyes, she noticed that Lara's eyes had turned white, and she was behaving in a very strange manner. Henry and Naruto also experienced this and became very scared, deciding to flee from the house. It was clear that the spirit of the doctor had seemingly taken possession of Lara, torturing her immensely. After a while, we see Mary taking Lara back home. When Lara's mother, Kelly, and her father, Thomas, saw her in this condition, they became quite distressed. At the moment, Kelly believed that Lara had been drinking, which was why she took Lara to the bathtub and began washing her, believing that Lara had disrespected the Catholic group and God's teachings by participating in such unnecessary activities. Drinking and engaging in such actions were against God's rules, and Kelly began seeing Lara as a criminal. In a hurry to discipline Lara, Kelly even cut her hair. Kelly had no idea what kind of struggles her daughter would face in the coming days. Lara, feeling devastated, stayed in a constant state of sorrow. The next day, when she goes to church, Lara repeatedly sees the face of the dangerous doctor as if he is haunting her. When she goes inside the church to pray, instead of hearing the priest's voice, she hears the voice of the doctor's spirit. This moment terrified her deeply, and she realized that the dangerous spirit was following her. The doctor's spirit even mentioned that he had seen how intimate Lara had been with Henry, and if he wanted, he could reveal the truth to her family. Scared, Lara began distancing herself, trying to get away from everything. Kelly, seeing her daughter troubled like this, couldn't comprehend what had happened. Lara's face showed fear, and at that moment, a teacher named Asim, who was Lara's teacher, arrived. Along with her was Father Allman, who also knew Kelly. They started talking, but suddenly, Father Loman's gaze fell on Lara. He truly felt that a dark spirit was near Lara. However, Lara left soon after. Father Allman doesn't think much about it. Later, Lara comes home after school, and her brother Jack asks her, "Who were you talking to last night while sleeping?" Lara replies, "Maybe I was talking in my sleep." However, Jack is very clear that he heard Lara speaking, and there were responses coming from the other side. This makes Lara's mind heat up, and she goes to her room without saying anything to her brother. But inside her room, suddenly, she starts hearing the same lullabies that the dangerous doctor used to sing to his daughters. Lara also encounters the spirit of the dangerous doctor in her room, causing her to hide under her blanket, terrified. The entire night is spent this way, with Lara unable to sleep properly, making her increasingly irritable. The next day, Lara is at school, where the same teacher, Asim, is taking a class. The students are studying, but suddenly, Lara begins to feel immense pain in her hands. Strange designs begin appearing on her hands, resembling ancient spells. Lara couldn't bear the pain and immediately rushes to the washroom. She tries to wipe away the marks, hoping no one notices. However, in the washroom, she feels an invisible entity trying to approach her. Lara, terrified, locks herself inside the washroom and remains silent, as her mental state worsens. She loses control over herself and suddenly attacks the person in front of her, her teacher, Asim, who she cares for deeply. However, her face shows extreme terror, with deep marks of fear, and she quickly leaves. Later, Lara encounters another teacher, who is also a psychiatrist, who keeps asking her questions. The teacher clearly warns Lara that due to the attack on staff, she could face consequences and asks her to reveal everything, what she is feeling and who told her to do so. Lara then begins to feel slightly more comfortable and tells the teacher about how she and some friends went to that house to perform a ritual, and ever since, the spirit of the dangerous doctor has been haunting her. She admits that she must have made some mistakes, and that is why God is punishing her, making her endure very difficult days. The teacher starts laughing and says, "There's no such thing. If you shift your focus elsewhere, you will never experience these things." Lara considers what her teacher said and starts to realize that maybe the teacher is right, she should focus her attention elsewhere. On her way home, Lara meets Henry. Henry offers to give her a ride home on his bike, and despite not trusting anyone after the last incident, she decides to go with him. Henry drops Lara near her house, and then we see her teacher, Asim, present. Asim advises Lara not to spend time with Henry, as it goes against her Catholic faith to be involved with anyone this way. After explaining these things, Lara directly returns home. However, as she walks in, something suddenly gets stuck in her throat. As she slowly removes it, she finds that there are many hairs in her mouth, belonging to a woman. Lara is in immense pain but continues to fight through it. The next day at school, during class, Ruta passes a paper around, and everyone starts laughing at Lara, mocking her. Lara feels humiliated and unable to accept how her self-respect is being shattered. Her anger steadily increases, and now, for some reason, her rage grows uncontrollably. Lara calls Ruta into the washroom and violently assaults him, grabbing his face and tearing it apart. Naruto is also killed there, as blood splatters everywhere. The students, witnessing Lara in this condition, become terrified. Lara stumbles forward but soon collapses unconscious on the ground. What Lara did horrifies everyone. She was not in her right mind, it was the same evil spirit controlling her, which was extremely merciless. When Lara opens her eyes, she finds herself in the hospital. She repeatedly tells her teacher that she made mistakes and that God is punishing her, sending her to hell. However, the teacher comforts Lara, assuring her that it's not her fault, and they will fix everything together. After all these events, the teacher becomes convinced that what is happening to Lara is indeed real. Soon, when her mother and father arrive, the teacher explains everything to Callie about how Lara participated in a ritual at that old house where a doctor had brutally murdered his wife. Perhaps it was the spirit of that same doctor that had possessed Lara. Callie begins to think deeply about why Lara chose to share this important information with her teacher instead of with her. She realizes that she never maintained a close relationship with her daughter, making it difficult for Lara to confide in her. Meanwhile, Lara starts vomiting blood, experiencing intense pain she cannot bear. A scan reveals that there are sharp objects embedded in her stomach, causing severe internal damage. The medical team is shocked because swallowing such sharp objects without any signs on her throat is incomprehensible. Callie immediately demands that Father Allman be called. On the other hand, Thomas views these events as purely a medical condition and refuses to believe in rituals, demons, and supernatural elements. Father Lehman is now aware of everything and approaches Callie, explaining that when he first saw Lara, there was something inherently evil around her, but at the time, he chose not to say anything because the evidence wasn't concrete. After seeing all these reports, Father Allman was convinced that the only way to rid Lara of the possession was through an exorcism. Father Lehman also realized that a dark spirit had truly possessed her, causing immense torment. However, Thomas still refused to believe in such things, so Father Lehman approached him to explain. When Lara was receiving glucose through her fore, Father Lehman secretly added holy water to it. After a while, the evil spirit inside her began twisting her body unnaturally, contorting in ways no human could physically manage. Seeing such dangerous phenomena, Thomas was finally convinced of Father Allman's method, and they left it to him to take care of their daughter. After much discussion, Father Lehman tells Callie and Thomas that 13 exorcisms would be required. To clarify, performing even one exorcism can be fatal, but Father insisted that 13 were necessary because the spirit possessing Lara was incredibly dangerous. Father gave Callie and Thomas a final warning: if they wanted to save their daughter, the exorcisms had to begin immediately. Both Callie and Thomas agreed, and after Lara was discharged, they took her home to begin the process slowly. They made sure to close all doors, windows, and rooms to keep the exorcism private. Normally, exorcisms require permission, but Father Lehman decided to perform them without consent because Lara's life was at stake. Lying on the bed, Father began reciting his incantations. In the first exorcism, he called upon the dark spirit to leave her body. Father continued to read aloud the prayers, and gradually, the spirit inside her began to writhe and scream in pain. It managed to take full control of Lara, her eyes turning white once again. The spirit became incredibly active, running around uncontrollably, but with the combined efforts of everyone reading prayers, they slowly began to gain control. Together, they managed to suppress the demon within her. The demon was so dangerous that Father Allman barely escaped death once, as the demon attempted to strangle him. It wanted nothing more than to kill him, but the collective efforts of everyone involved, who were determined to save Lara, kept the demon at bay. One by one, Father continued with exorcisms, and after each session, Lara's body suffered extensive damage. The demon, from within, was relentlessly attacking her, trying to consume her from the inside. Thomas couldn't bear to see his daughter go through such agony anymore, and he begged Father to stop. However, Father explained that halting now would only let the demon regain control, and they couldn't risk it. Thomas, helpless in the face of his daughter's suffering, withdrew emotionally, unable to witness the ongoing torment. At this point, Lara had undergone 11 exorcisms, with only 2 remaining. However, her condition had become so frail that even a single more exorcism might cost her life. Thomas, overwhelmed and unable to endure anymore, leaves the scene entirely. Meanwhile, the psychiatrist teacher investigates what transpired when Lara and her friends entered the haunted house. She seeks proof to show that the supernatural events were merely illusions, orchestrated by emotional disturbances rather than reality. Her efforts to gather evidence continue, but the situation grows more dire. Only 2 exorcisms remain, and Father, along with Callie, Jack, and others, prepare to face the demon one last time. During this process, Father learns the demon's true name, Ketan. Once the name of the demon is revealed, it becomes much weaker and easier to banish through a proper ritual. Father, fully committed to the task, begins reading ancient prayers and performing rituals. However, the demon grows more desperate, resorting to emotional manipulation. It confronts Callie with a haunting revelation, that she once had another son who drowned due to her negligence, and it was her fault for letting him die. Overwhelmed by guilt and grief, Callie is unable to contain her emotions, questioning whether the punishment they are facing is a result of her actions. Thomas, burdened by these haunting revelations, feels the weight of his family's suffering grow heavier, unable to find peace amidst the torment. The story reaches a tragic climax as Thomas, consumed by desperation, tries to protect his daughter, Lara, from the relentless grip of the demon. Despite the evidence presented by the psychiatrist teacher, who claims that Lara's visions were caused by drug-induced hallucinations, Thomas refuses to believe it. Driven by love and fear, he takes Lara away from the exorcism, stopping the ritual in its final moments. However, it's already too late. As Lara's spirit is claimed by the demon, she falls from a high window, succumbing to her fate. Thomas believes his daughter suffered from a mental breakdown, but the truth is much darker. The demon, once trapped inside her, has seized her soul and taken it into the depths of hell. Thomas and his family are left to mourn a loss they couldn't prevent, tormented by the realization that they could never save her. This victory marks the demon's power, as it continues to search for new victims to feed on their souls, gaining more strength with every possession. The cycle of darkness begins again, leaving the souls of the damned to endure eternal suffering. The story ends in sorrow, with a haunting reminder of the cost of confronting evil.